Level 1, the surface. Light mysteries, strange coincidences, and popular internet stories about cursed or unsettling numbers. The 23 enigma, the coincidence that won't go away. People on the internet call 23 the number that follows you. Because once you start noticing it, it never stops. Movie release dates, celebrity deaths, strange crimes, everything suddenly begins connecting back to 23. Online forums have thousands of posts from people who swear the number showed up right before something bad happened to them. One user reported that their missing cat returned at 23:23, covered in mud and staring at the wall as if it had seen something. Another said they woke up to 23 phone notifications, all blank with no sender. A man on Reddit claimed he kept seeing 23 on clocks, receipts, train tickets, until the day he narrowly avoided a car crash at 23:23. Most people call it a psychological trick, but the stories keep coming. 404, the error code. That became an internet ghost story. Everyone 404 page not found, but some horror communities treat it as something else entirely. There are claims of 404 pages that shouldn't exist. A few people report that a 404 page once loaded an old picture of their childhood home, a photo they swear was never uploaded online. Most browsers treat 404 as harmless, but some corners of the web use it as a door. 666, the popular number with too many real stories. Even outside religion, 666 keeps showing up in ways that make people uneasy. A girl on TikTok said her fitness app glitched and set her daily step goal to 666. And the same night, all of her notifications. It's easy to dismiss. But people keep encountering the number in moments when the last thing they need is a voice. The Rule of 11, the number that predicts bad news. This one is extremely common among conspiracy forums. People say 11 shows up before tragedy. The September 11th coincidence list is one of the most infamous. The date, the flight numbers, the number of letters in key names. Too many 11s. A British Redditor swears that for weeks, he kept waking up at 3:11 a.m. just staring at the ceiling, until one night he woke up at 3:11 to the smell of smoke. Level 2, the shallow water. Unsettling coincidences, unexplained cases, early-stage internet curses, numbers that appear right before something goes wrong. The 333 phenomenon, when something watches you. People across Reddit, TikTok, and paranormal forums report waking up at 3:33 a.m., always 33 minutes into the devil's hour. Most say they wake up suddenly, heart pounding, with no dream to remember. But some stories go further. A man from Canada posted that for 3 nights in a row, he woke up at 3:33, and each time his baby monitor showed a tall figure standing in the hallway. The 4th night, the monitor feed went black and stayed black until sunrise. A Korean student reported that her phone alarm randomly triggered at 3:33, even though she never set one. When she checked her alarm list, the 3:33 alarm was labeled, "You're awake." Room 1408 IRL, the number you should never stay in. Inspired by Stephen King, people often think 1408 is fictional. But the real-world stories about these numbers are extremely common and deeply unnerving. A traveler in Tokyo reported that room 08 had a phone that kept ringing with no caller ID. When she finally answered, a voice whispered her passport number. A couple in Prague to find all the hotel pens arranged into the shape of an 8 on their pillows. In Mexico, a hotel removed 08 entirely. After multiple guests claimed the mirrors distorted their faces, only in hotels write it off as coincidence. But guests know, some rooms don't want you to leave the way you entered. The 999 calls. When the emergency number calls in the United Kingdom, 999 is the emergency number. But some people report receiving incoming calls from it. This shouldn't be possible. A woman shared that her grandmother received a 999 call moments before a stroke, and the line whispered one word: run. Police say it's spoofing, but no one explains the time. 13-minute voicemails, the recording that nobody made. In 2020, users across multiple countries began receiving long 13-minute voicemails that contained nothing but static, rhythmic clicking, fragments of Morse code, and what sounded like distant breathing. The weird part? Every voicemail was exactly 13 minutes, 13 seconds. Some decoded parts of the Morse. Don't look back. He comes tonight. 13 is open. And in several cases, those who received the voicemails reported sleep paralysis that same night, shadows moving in their room, or electronics failing for exactly 13 seconds. No telecom. Level 3, the deep blue layer, where numbers stop being coincidences and start leaving evidence. Real tragedies, unexplained recurrences, and codes that might not be random one. Flight 191. That should never fly. Among pilots and aviation historians, 191 is considered cursed. It began in 1979 with American Airlines Flight 191, which crashed seconds after takeoff from Chicago O'Hare, killing 273 people. It remains one of the deadliest aviation disasters in U.S. history. But what made the number terrifying is what happened after. Over the next decades, multiple unrelated airlines used the number 191 and suffered major crashes or near misses. Delta Flight 191, 1985, crashed during a storm in Dallas. 137 dead. Comair Flight 5191, 2006, almost the same digits reversed. Wrong runway, 49 dead. Spanish Air Flight JK 5022, Gate B 191, engine failure, 154 dead. JetBlue Flight 191, 2012, pilot Clayton Osborne had a sudden psychotic episode mid-flight, screaming about numbers that repeat. After that, several airlines retired the flight number completely. Statistically, it's coincidence. Emotionally, errands. On the surface, 87 doesn't mean much, but online investigators began to notice something in missing persons. Records, cold cases, and online archive IDs. It started with case file number 87-0 from a 1990s police database, a missing girl named Amy Lynn Bradley, whose ship cabin number was A87. Then came a Reddit thread connecting multiple disappearances tied to rooms, highways, or digital handles containing 87. Some real examples often mentioned online. In 2008, a YouTube account named Backdoor87 uploaded a single video titled "Help Me." Coordinates in the description led to no one knows who started the pattern, but 87 became shorthand in internet horror for an unfinished cycle. As if 87 isn't just a number, but a countdown that never reaches 119, the inverted call for help. In most of Asia, 119 is the emergency number, the opposite of America's 911. But online, it's taken a darker, mirrored. In Japan, several people reported phantom calls from 119 that played recordings of their own recent phone conversations. One of the most disturbing clips appeared on TikTok in 2021. A short recording titled 119_reverse. It was only 11.9 seconds long, showing a reflection of a phone screen that kept calling itself. No agency confirmed these events. But 119, once a symbol of rescue. Level 4. The Abyss. At this depth, the numbers are no longer harmless. They record, repeat, and remember. 505, the disconnected line. In 2013, a Reddit claimed his phone made outgoing calls every night at 5 a.m., always to the same number. When he checked the call history, it was already gone. Recordings he posted captured faint whispers in Spanish, repeating the word vuelve, come back. The number's country code 505 belongs to Nicaragua, yet several other people across the U.S. reported identical ghost call 505 a.m., even when their phones were in airplane mode. When someone dialed the number back, a voice answered, "You shouldn't have called this late." Then the call ended exactly 5.05 seconds later. The line has never been traced. But some users 505 aloud while recording triggers unexplained static. 001101, the counting virus. In 2009, users on a hacker forum discovered a text file called 001101.txt. Opening it launched a background process that printed random numbers in a console window. But the numbers weren't random. They counted down. When the count reached 0, the PC emitted a low hum and displayed a message. "You are counted." Then it shut down, permanently locking the drive. No creator was ever identified. Inside its binary, the virus resurfaced briefly on January 13, 2013, and then disappeared forever. Some think it wasn't malware at all, but a data experiment gone wrong. Others believe it was meant to measure something alive. 731, the human experiment number. Unlike most numbers on this list, 731 is historically real. It refers to Unit 731, a covert biological warfare program run by the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. Between 1936 and 1945, thousands of prisoners in Manchuria were used for human experiments, biological weapons testing, frostbite studies, vivisections while awake. Almost no one survived. All documents were destroyed before Japan's surrender. But here's the horror. Years later, digital archivists found a file set labeled 731 inside a declassified U.S. Army database. The files contained medical photos, each tagged with GPS metadata that placed them nowhere near Japan. One was dated 1973, another 2003, and one more 2037, a date that hasn't happened yet. Experts called it a corruption glitch. Others say 0.337, the forbidden frequency. A mysterious number that began circulating among sound engineers and paranormal researchers online. It's below human hearing range, technically infrasound. When played at high volume, it can trigger anxiety, nausea, and the feeling of being watched. But multiple reports claim it does more than that. In 2018, a YouTuber named Eli Ortega uploaded a test file generating a 0.337 hertz tone for 3 minutes. He joked that it made the room shake. 2 days later, his account vanished, along with all copies of the video. Archive re-uploads display heavy. You can faintly hear a heartbeat. Laboratory experiments confirm infrasound can affect mood, but 0.337 specifically causes rapid drops in body temperature. No scientific paper explains why. Yet online, they call it the frequency that opens 11/9, the mirror date. After the events of 9/11, internet historians noticed something eerie. Reversed patterns appearing on 11/9 in multiple countries. A train derailed September 11, 2002. 11 dead. A server failure in Singapore September 11, 2011. Time-stamped 11/09/11. A forum September 11, 2019. All content replaced by the number 91119. Researchers named it the temporal mirror effect, as if the digital world reflects trauma through numbers, and sometimes the reflection looks. Level 5, the trench. At this depth, the numbers don't just whisper, they dot. 518, the archive that vanished. In April 2014, the U.S. National Archives confirmed a sudden loss of over 518 terabytes of federal data. The official explanation was server corruption. But researchers who tracked the metadata noticed that the files weren't deleted. They were redirected. A hidden subnet appeared for less than a minute. Shortly after, a whistleblower from Maryland, known only as MA, claimed that 518 wasn't just a number, but a code name used in classified projects involving predictive death patterning. She released a snippet of an internal memo. When the count reaches 518, it begins again. Her account was terminated hours later. Every trace of her online identity erased. Exactly 5:18 a.m. The archive never reappeared, but those who downloaded fragments of it found one recurring phrase embedded in random binary 131313, the date that shouldn't exist. There is no such date, not on any calendar. But between 2012 and 2016, several systems, CCTV logs, hospital servers, and traffic cams, began recording files stamped 13/13/13. In Manchester, a hospital's ICU security system registered 3 patient deaths. The patients were real, but the timestamp wasn't. The same anomaly appeared in Melbourne, Prague, and Vancouver, all within the same 24-hour window. A Reddit post from a sysadmin claimed to have accessed the raw metadata. The files don't show a time, they show a reset. He attached a screenshot of the log, every line replaced with 1313131313. 2 days later, his account, u/13loop, was permanently suspended. The backup archive he posted was blank, file size 13.13 megabytes. Theories range from clock overflow errors to deliberate insertions in military network tests. But one comment always surfaces below: 51.0459. The coordinates that move. When you input 51.0459 into Google Maps, it points to Calgary, Canada. But what's strange is that for several years, satellite images of that exact coordinate shifted location, moving a few meters east every time new imagery was uploaded. People started tracking it. The drift matched missing person reports in the region. In 2019, the coordinate aligned with the spot where a hiker named Rachel Minard was last seen. A month later, it shifted again. User downloaded a raw map tile and brightened it. Hidden in the pixel noise was faint text. "We move because you look." No one knows who inserted it. Some believe the coordinate is linked to an old satellite calibration protocol that still updates automatically, even though the network it belonged to was decommissioned in 2005. Others think 51.0459 is the deep count, digital voices of the dead. The last known appearance of these numbers together was on a file found on an abandoned NASA FTP mirror, discovered in 2024. The file's its content, hundreds of timestamps counting down in uneven intervals. When converted to audio frequencies, the sequence produced whisper-like voices repeating the same phrase, "The trench remembers." The log ends with one file. No one knows if it's real. But those who analyzed the file reported hearing their own names, faintly buried beneath the static, personalized as if the data was listening back. Level 6, the black depths. This is the bottom. Here, the numbers are not found, they find you. Cicada/3301, the digital cult. In January 2012, an image appeared on Forshon. A simple black background with white text. "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find us, seek the hidden message within this image." It was signed 3301. People who followed the clues discovered a web of cryptography, music theory, and philosophy. QR codes led to phone booths in multiple countries: the US, Poland, Spain, Japan. And then, the trail ended. But what terrified the solvers most wasn't the puzzle. Digits that repeated in data from unrelated forums, server logs, and even archived police reports years before Cicada appeared. In 2020, a private group of researchers claimed that 3301 wasn't a name, but a time code. The 3301st, several unexplained videos uploaded at UTC displayed similar symbology. Moths, ciphers, and the phrase, "the prime of the human mind." One of those videos ends with a number sequence. Each number corresponds to the previous layers of this iceberg. And in the metadata, the author's name reads Cicada, Level 6. The 000 pattern, silent coordinates. Dark web investigators who tracked cicada puzzles found a hidden subnet cluster nicknamed 000. Each server displayed only a single number. Ping requests were reflected back with a delay pattern spelling binary code. The translation read, "The eye has turned." The network's location pointed to no physical IP range, but trace routes revealed a repeating latency of 3.301 milliseconds. That's exactly the same as Cicada's signature number. Rumors claim the subnet was part of a neural experiment, a self-learning cipher that used the human mind as a processor. To this day, anyone attempting to connect to the 000 network reports hours 55 minutes and 1 second, 3,301 seconds after midnight. The zero depth code, beyond coordinates. In 2023, a small team of code breakers at the University of Warsaw attempted to unify all known numeric anomalies into a single map. When they input the coordinates, the system froze and produced one unexpected result: a circular pattern, a perfect spiral, ending at a point marked only as depth 0. The algorithm then generated a single string of text: "We're already there." Minutes later, their entire dataset wiped itself clean. Every backup, local and cloud, overwritten by a file named depth0.txt, containing nothing but the number that watches. 3,301 mirror incident. In mid-2024, a live stream surfaced briefly on an obscure darknet channel called Mirror Depths. The video feed showed nothing but a spinning glass sphere reflecting a dark room. Seconds. The reflection shifted, not showing the room, but a person's face, watching the viewer directly. Forensic analysis found the reflections matched IP addresses of active viewers in real time. Exactly 331 seconds. Its title? You've solved it. Those who downloaded the file claim their camera lights began flashing for no reason, and their system clocks 55 minutes and 1 second. The infinite descent. 0 below 0. There are whispers online of an unreleased cicada puzzle, never posted publicly. Its rumored title, 0 below 0. It supposedly involved a 24-hour sequence of tones based on infrasound at 0.337 hertz, a coded reference to cold silence. At the end, a single image appeared, an iceberg diagram, nearly identical to this one. At the bottom, a final entry, level 7, you. No copy of this image has ever been found. Only fragments remain for posts, deleted logs, and an encrypted message claiming the final number is not discovered, it's created, ending the bottom of the signal. Everything leads back to cicada, to 3,301 seconds past midnight, to frequencies below hearing, to coordinates that move when you look at them. And maybe that's the truth of the iceberg. It's not a map downward, it's a mirror reflecting back at whoever dares to read it, all aligned, all active, all awake,